So we've started our niche website. This is our series on starting a new niche website that we know absolutely zero about. Nothing, nada. So we started a website. I showed you guys on the first video how to build your website, set up your domain, get your WordPress up and running, and now we're actually moving into content. So we're thinking to ourselves, okay, bees, we know nothing about bees. Here's exactly how I would start this. Like I would start any other website that I don't know anything about. I'm going to go over to Google and I'm going to type in beekeeping. I'm actually going to show you several ideas on how we start creating content. One way that I am going to do content is by using existing videos, but I'm going to show you that in another video as we create content over the next 30 days. So let's take a look at this people also ask box. This is my favorite spot to get ideas for how to get content. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and make ourselves some notes here. So I'm going to have one main blog that is going to have like all of my the basics of beekeeping. All right, so I'm just going to call it that. The basics of beekeeping. Okay. Now up here, I'm going to write an intro, or I'm going to have my writer write an intro. Okay. Then here, I'm always going to insert a video. So what I do is I go over to YouTube and I type in how to beekeeping. Okay. Now I'm looking for somebody else's video on how to start beekeeping. Okay, so I'll go through and preview some and pick what I want. You know, maybe this is somebody that has an affiliate program. So let's look at this, guys. Tips for getting started in beekeeping. I scroll down to his video really quick and I look for his website. I'm going to open that in a new tab. And I want to see if he has an affiliate program of any kind. Scroll down. And I'm looking for, okay, he's got become a dealer, bookkeeping education. I don't really see anything on affiliate. Now what I can do is up top, see where this has his URL? I can hit a space bar and I'm going to type in affiliate, and this is going to do like a little search to see if he has anything. Is that the same company? No, those are different ones. Okay, so I may or may not choose him. Typically what I'll do is I'll try to find an affiliate program, go ahead and sign up for the affiliate program and use a YouTube video that would be a supplement to a call to action for an affiliate item. But for right now, let's just go ahead and take his, I might look that up later, but for the sake of time, let's go back to our blog here. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So I am using blocks. I showed you in the first video how to choose your website to have blocks rather than just the classic editor on WordPress. So we're just going to go ahead and paste that video right in there. Okay, so my intro is going to be something like beekeeping. Okay, now I'm going to show you though how we can sub this out to a writer if you're not a writer. But I kind of want to show you what the format looks like. So this is the way I always do it. I do title, intro, video whenever I can, and then this is going to be a call to action button. So this might be a free course, a free guide, a mailing list. You know, this could be how I'm going to try to capture their information. It could also be so an affiliate item. So maybe I'm going to go over to Amazon and I'm going to type in beekeeping. So beekeeping supplies. I'm going to find something that I think is going to attract a beginner's, somebody that's just getting started with bees. Okay, so let's do this beekeeper's handbook for, let's just say we want to do this one. Then I'm going to go up here to custom. I'm using SiteStripe. I'm an affiliate with Amazon, and I'm going to, oh, I need a new tracking code. Hold on. So let's go ahead and grab that, because I told you I'd show you everything I'm going to do in this whole, as I'm building the website. I don't want to skimp. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go over to my account, and we are going to add a tracking code. So manage your tracking IDs, add a tracking ID, and I'm doing Ballen's Bees. Actually, I'm just going to, yeah, Ballen's Bees 20, create. Done. So now what I can do is go back to that item. I'm going to refresh this page. So I like to know which, when I get affiliate income, I want to know which website it's coming from. So I work very diligently, not perfectly, but very diligently to grab the correct tracking codes for each website. So I'm going to go up here to custom, and I'm going to drop this down, and I'm going to find my Ballen's Bees. All right, and now it'll track, and when those sales come in, it'll tell me where they came from. It'll look like this. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to show that, so I'm not gonna. Terms of service with Amazon, I don't want to get in trouble with showing direct sales reports. But what you can see is in my report, you can see, you know, like yesterday I had 2 ceiling fans, and those were on my real estate website, and I had some apple cider vinegar and some supplements that came from my keto diet website, and I had a vegan mascara that I sold on my midlife lifestyle website, and I can see those from these tracking codes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab that code here, and we're going to go back over to our blog. I close that so we don't get confused, and we're just going to paste that right in here, HTML code, and I'm going to paste that right there. See how just code, but then you click preview, there's your little ad. And I can save this. Let's say I'm going to reuse this throughout my whole website. So I can go up here to these little 3 dots, and I can click add to reusable blocks, and I could call this, what was that called? The Beekeeper's Handbook. So I'm just going to go right here. The Beekeeper's Handbook. And then I will be able to use that over and over again now throughout my blog. Okay, so now this is how I always start it: the title, the intro, video or an image, and or a graph or something here, and then a call to action of some sort. Okay, I've not yet put my mailing list together. I just launched this website today, so we're going to go with just a quick affiliate item just for something in that place for right now. I have started applying for affiliate relationships with a bunch of the other beekeeping companies, so this will get more grand as it goes along. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create my paragraph headings that are going to be about the basics of beekeeping. And where I'm going to get those, oh, I closed my Google tab, didn't I? Where I'm going to get those is from Google. And we're going to type that in again, beekeeping. And we're going to find, okay, how much does it cost to start keeping bees? Now, whenever you see questions in here, this is saying, hey, this is what people are actually typing in recently to Google. So it's important. So how much does it cost to start keeping bees? I think that's a great question. So I'm going to start that off as my header. How much does it cost to start keeping bees? Okay. Now, Here, we're going to have the answer to that question. But I am going to have to go look that stuff up and type it up on my own because it's going to take a little while. I could do that tomorrow. Or I can sub this out to a writer, which I'm also going to show you how to do. So answer to that question, how much does it cost to start keeping bees? And let's just say this is going to be about 300 word answer. Let's just say, okay? Now, below that, I'm going to have a divider. Oh, I haven't installed it yet. Gutenberg uses a separator. So if you wanted to separate between paragraphs, you can do this separator. I like a divider that has a back to top option so they can get back up to the table of contents. And I use Shortcodes Ultimate for that. You know what? Might as well do it. I told you I'd show you everything, so let's do it. So I'm going to go over to plugins. I'm just going to open this in a new tab so I don't lose my spot. We're going to go to add new, upload plugin. I'm sorry, not upload plugin. We're going to go to search. We're looking for Shortcodes Ultimate. Okay, there it is. Install now. Remember in the first video I talked about that plugins add functionality to your website. So we want to use shortcodes and we need to add the plugin to do it. I'll show you what a shortcode is. So there's Shortcodes Ultimate. Okay. So next, I also need Table of Contents Pro. So let's grab that too. Add new. And it's TOC Plus, Table of Contents Plus, TOC Plus. Actually, I think this easy table of contents might work just as well. Let me see if this other one's still supported. Table of contents plus. Let's see. Easy table of contents. Let me see if this does what the other one does. Automatically generate a table of contents for your posts and pages by parsing its content for headers. And let me look at the screenshots of it. Oh. Okay, seriously, this looks like the same plugin. All right, we're installing it. They might have just changed the name of it. I don't know. Okay, so activate it. I will show you what that does too after the fact. Okay, we're good to go. Now let's go back to our blog. I'm going to save this as a draft. I'll just update it there. And we will add our divider. Okay, so now I should be able to go to plus shortcode. Okay, but I need to look up the shortcode. So I am going to go over here to Shortcodes Ultimate. And you'll be able to see all of the different things you can do with these shortcodes. And they are... So headings, dividers, quotes. We need to see available shortcodes. All right, there they are. So see, you can add sliders, you can add tabs, you can add tables, you can add all kinds of things that still Gutenberg doesn't have as many of these things. So I still like to use shortcodes. So cool. Okay, and we want the divider back to top. Divider. All right, there it is, divider. I'm just going to grab this code. Show link back to top, yes. Okay, so it is this right here inside these little squares like that. See if I can grab it. Okay, there it is. That's the code I want. So we're gonna go back over here. Now we're gonna be able to save this so we don't have to do that every time. So let me just get rid of that really quick. And we will paste this right. Oh, that's not right. Let's do this. HTML. Oh, let's put it in the short code box. Hold on, short code. We will get rid of, I think we can do it this way. Let me just make sure that works. Let me hit preview. No, hold on. My bad. Don't delete the brackets. Been a while since I've used that. There it is. Go to top. See that? Okay. Now I can change colors on that if I want to. Right now I've kind of got a lot of this pink stuff, although I really want to change all that to yellow. So let's just say I want that to be a black divider instead. This here is your color code. See those color codes? So let's just go over and type in color codes on Google, and you can look at all the colors and get the appropriate code that you want. I'm going to go with, I just want to go with black. Okay, so we can just take this 0, 0, 0, 0. If you wanted a blue or something here, you'll see that it'll change. See that up here? Okay, I just want the divider to be black right now. Let me see how it looks. Okay, so we just change this here and here. Okay, now let's preview what that looks like. Yeah, right there. I like it. Okay. All right, so these are some of the basics that I do every single time I build one of these websites. All right, so we're going to have how much does it cost to start beekeeping. We're going to have our word answer. We're going to have a divider. So this will be a nice paragraph. And once my words are in there, this is a long sentence. Let's just do, hold on. I could do something like this and say, the costs of starting beekeeping can vary widely based on how expansive you start your projects. Okay, now here, watch this. We can make this quotes. See that? How it changes that look? Or we can make that colored by going over here and saying, okay, I want this to be orange, or I want this to be gray, or I want this to be purple, or I want this to be yellow. Okay, there are new colors in here. I'm freaking out. I didn't realize that the colors varied from theme to theme. Interesting. Okay, that's good to know. So I can change that color and what I want that to look like. Or I can make this a drop cap by doing that. So now that we have that large cap in the front. Or we can make this a huge statement or a large statement, depending on how that looks in our theme. So you will see when I do my blogging that I will mix that up. So I want every block, every paragraph that's going to have about 300 words in it, I want every paragraph to have something that breaks up the eyes. You know, I want it to have bullet points or quote or drop cap or colors, something like that. So there's just not a bunch of long, ugly white text. And then I will oftentimes put in another affiliate item in here as well. So let's go back over to Amazon and look up our beekeeping. Let's do supplies this time. So we already did books. So, somebody who's just getting started is going to need the basics. And it looks like there's a bunch of basics in here. This looks like a more complete kit. I'm going to go with this one. And I will go to Ballen's Bees, and I'm going to grab that. So I won't always do all of Amazon. It all depends on what affiliates I have in that niche. Obviously, the more times we get them over to Amazon, the more likely they are to buy something. There's the 24-hour cookie. So if they buy anything within the next 24 hours, no matter what they put in their cart, we get a commission on. Also, if they put this item in their cart and they don't check out, the cookie extends for a full 30 days for that item. So that's beneficial. Obviously, the commissions on Amazon are very low. I'm only averaging like $1 an item because of putting very inexpensive items on my website so far. I've just started selling more expensive things like carpet shampooers and ceiling fans, so it's raising up now. But you're going to make anywhere from like 4% to 10% on Amazon. For the most part, it'll be closer to the 4% amount. So these aren't going to add up to a whole lot. You've got to get some serious volume going on there, right? But you got to think of your audience too. This is a beginner beekeeper that's reading this. How much are they going to spend, right? They're just getting started. But if you want to, I do like to put an expensive item quite often on the page just because you never know. So let's go back to beekeeping supplies, not bookkeeping. You can sort by featured, price, high to low. So let's price high to low and see what kind of things we've got on here. That would be, okay, so not the most expensive niche. I mean, not a lot of super expensive product items in this niche, but you absolutely could put something higher on there. I'm going to do this little bee house. I don't know anything about bees. Again, this is a brand new niche website I'm doing, so we're going to learn as we go here. Ballen Vegas. Oh, it's not Ballen Vegas. We are on Ballen's Bees. And we're going to put these right. Okay, we'll put that one on the next one. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in because I have it now. Now, the cool thing too about blocks is we can move them up and down with these little arrows, or we can click here and drag them. And they're super, super easy to move. So don't worry about putting something there and then not being able to move it because they're very easy to move. Okay, so now we got to the second one. Oh, let me save this divider. I didn't save that. Add to reusable blocks. Divider with back to top. Another cool thing, you guys, about using blocks, if I now make a change to this block, it will change it on all the other pages. So super cool way, instead of going in and looking up all of these affiliate links. Like, for example, I had done a website that had a whole lot of items from a furniture place that I promote for an affiliate. And they moved from one affiliate network to the other. And instead of going in and having to redo every single widget, I was able to just change one, I'm calling this a widget, one content block, and then it updated the rest of them. So fantastic. All right, so we've got that, and now we go to the next question. The next question is, how do you start beekeeping? Right, so we will go back over here and we get rid of those previews. Add a block, heading. How do you start beekeeping? Now, the most profitable way to build this is for you to write the article. So now I'm going to answer this, maybe 300 words. Maybe this is going to be where my list is, right? So now maybe I'm going to add bullet points in here. So 300 words, I'm going to add a block, and I'm going to add a list, right? So step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. So you ask yourself, well, how do I write the article if I don't know anything about beekeeping? Well, you read the answers on Google, and then you just rewrite it. You never just copy and paste their answer. You write it your own words. You could pick up a very inexpensive book if you like to read from Amazon, and you can actually break up the chapters like a beekeeper's guide, and each one of those chapters is actually a blog post, and you write all about that one specific thing, whatever's in the book. You could download a free Audible, and you could listen to it on Audible, and then just, one chapter at a time. Then it's kind of like doing a book report. What did you read? What were your takeaways? And you just write them in here. You could go to YouTube. So how do you start beekeeping? I could go to YouTube and I could watch this 8-minute video. Watch this. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Shane Gebauer with Brushy Mountain Bee Farm, and I'd like to take just a few minutes to talk about how to get started in beekeeping. We hear all the time from people coming into the store that are interested in starting, but they just don't know where. They're very daunted by the task of getting started in beekeeping. So I want to talk about a couple of things that are important for you to consider as you start your beekeeping experience. One of the first things you need to think about is location.
Okay, so now what I would do is I would pause that video, and I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to say, choose an ideal location. Now, I'm probably not going to have this in a list because I only do lists when I don't have to elaborate on something. If I'm going to elaborate on something, I'm going to go underneath that. So this might be step 1. Choose an ideal location, and might make that a heading 3 now, kind of like a table of contents. The title's 1, the paragraph headings are 2. Anything under that paragraph heading would be a heading 3, right? So choose an ideal location. I'm going to put, now I'm going to listen to what he says. And again, I'm not stealing his content. I am not going to verbatim write what this guy says. I am learning while I'm watching the video, while I'm listening to the Audible, while I'm reading the book, whatever it is, and then I'm just explaining to my reader what I learned. Okay? So choose an ideal location. Now I'm going to listen to him explain the importance of choosing the location and where he suggests, and then I'm going to put something like that in my own words. So anywhere you want to learn this information, podcasts, I mean, there's however you digest information, that's how you're going to create this blog, okay? You can also hire a writer to do it for you. There's lots of places where you can hire a writer. I'm going to go over it when we actually go over to hire a writer, but let's finish this now. So how do you start beekeeping? Okay, so that's probably about 300 words. And then I'm going to go down here. Let me get rid of that separator. Where's my little exit? It'll come back. Okay, so then I'm going to add my divider. See, I just type in divider, and there it is. Drops right in there because we already had it saved. Super easy. Okay. That darn separator doesn't want to move. Oh, there. Nope. Okay. Anyway, so then we go back over to Google and we do the next one. How much money can you make from beekeeping? And then I'm going to show you how much money can you make from beekeeping. Now, in order to get the table of contents to work, we have to go over to plugins. Let me open that table of contents plugin. So go here to settings. Nope, go here to settings. Easy table of contents, settings. And now, where do you want to enable that table of contents to show up? I'm going to put it on all pages and posts. And then where do you want it to show up? Before the first heading is the default or after the first heading? So we'll put before the first heading, show when, how many headings are present. So if you think about what we just did with our questions, the first question, how much is it going to cost? Then how do you get started? How much money can you make? Those are each of the headings. How many of those do you want before there's a table of contents put up there? So I usually say 3 or 4. And then you need to choose, you can choose it to initially hide where they have to hover over it and then they can see it, or do you want it just to show up there automatically? I don't like you can show a hierarchy if you want like heading 3 to show up underneath that. I'll show it to you. We'll leave it there and I'll show it to you. And then counter. Do you want it to be a numeric steps? Do you want a decimal? Do you want no counters? Basically, do you want it to have bullet points or be a numbered list or just a list? Okay. And then here's where you can choose like the width. How large do you want it to be, the full width of the page, or do you want it to be smaller? You can play with all of that. And then colors, you can choose your colors. And here's where you choose which headings do you want to show up in that table of contents. Do you want them all to show up, or do you want just heading 2s to show up? And watch what happens. I'll leave them all for now. And then let's go ahead, once that's set up, let's preview what our blog post looks like so far. So that would be your hero image or your header image. And then you would have, here's our intro, here's our video, here's that call to action button. Now this is where things get squirrely, okay? So depending on what your theme looks like, these might be really wide and these might be shorter, and there's ways to correct those, but by default, so they're going to be, they might be off-sized a little bit. Now what I want to show you really quick is if you look at this now, we've just began this blog and we've only got 3 paragraphs. How do you start beekeeping? We said that's going to be about 300 words. I'm just estimating because I kind of know based on my own experience that a paragraph is going to be 300 words if you're breaking it all down into little chunks, you know. So 300 to 500 maybe. So let's just say this one's 300, then this one's 300, and then this one's 300. We already are going to have a 900 word blog. You see how that works? We often talk about the fact that most of our good ranking, money-making blog posts that rank high on the search engines are usually in the ballpark of a couple thousand words. And that's not because Google is sitting there counting how many words are on the page and rewarding you because of the word count. It's because of how deep did you cover that topic. So if you're looking at basics of beekeeping, you want to make sure that you're going to answer all their basic questions, right? We're going to answer how much does it cost? How do you start? Where do you put them? What supplies do you need? And we're just going to keep going down, you know, these questions. Now you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4, they stop. Well, if you click on it, again, more will show up here. So can I keep bees in my backyard? That's a good one, right? Are they legal? Is it safe? You know, so you might want to answer that one. How much is a queen bee worth? How many flowers does a beehive need? Is it legal to keep them in a residential area? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer each one of those, okay? Now, if I am doing these myself and I'm writing an article like this myself, I am probably going to spend a few hours on it because I've got to go do that research. But another option that I could do is I could go over here to a writing broker, and there's several that I use. I'll put some links in the video below for you. Let's just say we're going to do this one. Oops, this one. I'm going to create an order. And I am going to title it. Now, I could have them write a 2,000 word article on all of this, how the basics of beekeeping. Okay. And they'll just write whatever they think. Or I can say, beginning beekeeping. And then here I could put, write an article for the beginner beekeeper. Include answers to the following questions. Title each as an H2, please. Okay, now all I have to do is go back over to the people also ask box, wherever that was. Okay. Nope. Okay. Don't know how I keep closing that. It's hilarious. And then I could just start copying these questions into here. Okay, how much does this cost to keep bees? How do you start beekeeping? How much money can you make from beekeeping? How much does it cost to buy a queen bee? Okay, now I want to bring something up here. My opinion is those are going to be those are probably more advanced than the first blog I want to do. The first blog I kind of want to cover the basics of beekeeping. You know, how do you start beekeeping? What supplies do you need? How much does it cost? So I might save these questions for a more advanced blog. Like, how much money can you make from beekeeping? Well, whether or not I think do I need all that in here? Depends on how big I want to go. Look at this. How much does it cost to buy a queen bee? $970. Pretty. But then they talk about all of the averages. Let's look at how big that article is. Cost of beekeeping. So those could be two separate articles. The one article could be how to get started in beekeeping. And the second article would be the cost of beekeeping, right? Because look, it's totally different. How much does it cost? Well, beehive kit, bee smoker fuel, beekeeper suit, beekeeper gloves, beehive feeders. How much do all these things cost? And you can see here this person's doing exactly what we're doing. They've got an affiliate website, right? And so that article is still only probably 500 words, so that we could put that in the paragraph. So it's up to you, like how much do you want this person to actually write? Now you could have them write 5,000 words, and then you could break each one of these up into separate blogs if you want. Or if you don't have the budget, you can just start one paragraph at a time and do a 300-word blog. Like, how much does it cost to start? And you could do, you could do 500 words. So write an article for beginning beekeeper, include answers to the following questions. Let's just do this. In this one, let's just do this. Write an article for beginning beekeeper. Include legalities, location, basic supplies, and anything else a beginner might be curious about. Yeah, okay. Now, what we'll do is we can get this one back. So let's see what this looks like. So let's say we're going to do a 2-star blog. So we're going to pay 3.5 cents a word. And we want this article to be 2,000 words long. It's going to cost $70. Now, you can risk it and go for a 1-star, which, by the way, I often do for an article like this, and they're often fine. These are Wikipedia style blogs, and they are doing the research like we would and returning it. If you get somebody that you don't like what they're doing, you can request revisions. And then if it's really terrible, you can flat out reject it for a small fee. And then you can block that person from ever picking up your order again. You also can create a team like I've done here. And you can send your orders out to your favorites, to your team, and just let them pick it up. Okay? But your favorites are usually going to be like 3-star writers, and they're thinking 8 cents a word. So if you make a 1-cent offer, they might be offended and not pick it up. Personally, I don't over worry about that because I've never had a problem getting my work picked up. And based on what I'm building, these are not super. I mean, these guys are writing these articles and returning them back within a couple hours. So to me, that's not necessarily 8 cents a word work, right? But if I'm doing an ebook, or I want something more comprehensive, or I want there to be, great language, it's more technical, I want certain inflection, I want certain expertise, then I'm going to pay more per word. So it just depends on that, on what I'm going to do, right? So beginning beekeeping, I'm going to go with a 2,000 word article, and then a minimum. I don't want it to be under 1,500 words. And you know what? I'm going to, yeah, let's just leave it at 2,000 to start. Then what I'll do is when we get this one back, I'll show you how we go in and put it in. And then we'll start, start looking at other topics we want to cover. And then we can take each topic one by one by one. I'm also going to show you how we can insert a video. I just kind of did already, and do the little takeaways. I'm also going to show you how we can put in a top beekeeping website in our keyword tool, and we can back it out and actually see all of the keywords they rank for, all of the traffic that they generate, and then we can get more ideas for what else we need to create content around. Okay, so these are the exact steps in building a niche website. So I'm going to go ahead and place this order. So this is going to be $44. So sometimes they'll be smaller, sometimes they'll be more expensive. You'll just have to determine what's worth it to you to put in the time and write yourself, and what might be worth it to you to let somebody else do. I've also got tutorials on how you can get the affiliates sometimes to pay for your content, especially with software. Probably not as much with this one, but there's other ways to do that. I find lots of creative ways to get my content paid for as much as possible, so that my websites are profitable much quicker. But if you don't have that out of the gate and you need to pay for it, this is going to be the spot to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And so all I have to do is 1 star. I'm good to go. I'm going to do this so that we can review it and see what it looks like on camera. So I'm going to go ahead and just place this order now. And I'm basically telling them, let's do hobbies. I'm basically telling them that I'll give them up to 3 days on this article, but they very seldom take 3 days. Open order. 1 star, 1,500, 2,000, place order. So I will let you know when I come back on here how long this took, but usually it's back same day. It's 10 o'clock at night now, so I'm sure it will probably be back tomorrow. And we'll take a review, and you can get an idea for how the writing looks. So that's it for this video. This was video number 2 in the Building a Niche Website series.